Did you hear about the podcast between the Italian guy and the Irish guy? We call it pasta and potatoes or something like that.
That's wonderful. I haven't. Is that a new thing?
Yeah, indeed.
I love it. Well, hey, where exactly are you coming out of?
And this is the back road into Chicago, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What about
Wonderful.
you?
I'm in Kansas City.
Kansas City. All right. Oh, yes. I remember seeing that. Go Chiefs.
Yes.
I'm a Mahomes fan. I'm not so much a Chiefs fan, but I'm a Mahomes fan,
Yeah.
definitely.
Mahomes
Um,
is good. Yeah, it's been a long time. Kansas City went through some dark times, so it's good to have a little bit of sunlight
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
for sure.
Um, and of course, that famous jazz singer, Kelsey's girlfriend, of course, I'm sure you appreciate her as well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure. Well,
Yeah.
hey man, it's great that we've connected here. I appreciate you taking a minute out. And I want to begin our conversation with living through the last 3.5 years. How did you get through the pandemic and how did it change you?
Ah, it's good question. And I suppose if I was to myself 3.5 years ago compared to now, I would say I have grown and developed a lot, Joe, in a lot of different ways. I
Yeah.
mean, I was always a confident, competent communicator, I think, but that was primarily on stage doing keynotes, etc., and business presentations. I had some experience with the interweb kind of communicating with people. But now I think I am much better technologically. I have good skills, I believe, in terms of doing webinars and Zoom, etc. And it's actually been a revenue enhancing situation for me in that sense. From a personal point of view, we got through it well. Thankfully, no COVID when the main thing was happening. I had a light dose of it last year. My wife and she's been suffering marriage with me for over 40 years. We actually got on well over that period, thankfully. So that was good. The biggest thing, obviously, was that we weren't able to get back to Ireland for about 3 years. And that was kind of painful at times, kind of thing. But then the great thing, Joe, and you know, is that Zoom has just changed the world totally. And if I can tell you a little quick story.
Please do.
Um, my brother in New York is what you might call technologically challenged. I mean, color televisions like us, things that are kind of new to him almost.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got two brothers in Ireland as well, and I said we'll do a Zoom conference just to kind of stay in touch. So I told my two brothers in Ireland that the brother in New York, Victor is in New York, that we should. I told two brothers in Ireland to turn their camera upside down when they're doing the Zoom, as you can actually do, okay? So I turn my camera upside down as well, and Victor comes on in New York, and what he sees is the three of us upside down, and he's saying, what the good Irish brothers, a few profanities dropped in conversation.
Oh yeah.
So he's going, I said, what the heck? And we're saying, Victor, there's something wrong with your system, man. You got to do something with it. Can you try turning your computer upside down and see whether that will work? So when we eventually clarified what we were doing, there was some more profanities involved in the discussion. We
Yes.
keep it rather calm.
That's a great story.
Yeah,
And I'm a tech guy by day, so I appreciate that. I
right,
understand the ins and
right.
outs of kind of getting through it. So let me get to the heart and soul of what you do on a daily basis. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of third graders. It's career day. And one of the
Yeah,
kids says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that child?
right. If a 3-year-old does that, I would probably say to them, I help people to be kind.
Okay.
And I encourage people to be kind. And I'll say to you as a 3-year-old, as a 4-year-old, you can put a smile on someone else's face today just by being nice to them. And that basically is what I try to do, Joe. The brand is, and this is actually the way I do it on Zoom as well. The brand is that Irishman Speaks. Oh, the other side. Oh, sorry. The brand is
That's right.
Irishman Speaks. All right. And my mission generally is to improve people, performance, and productivity with a smile.
Yeah.
So ultimately, what I want people to do at the end of my presentations, be they a keynote, a workshop, a seminar, or facilitating something, is that everyone is leaving with a smile in the face with a spring in the step and with some memorable takeaways to keep on keeping on and helping someone else in the workplace, in the community, or down the street.
So what did you want to be when you were in grade school, say the third grade?
I wanted to be a goalkeeper for Manchester United,
There you go.
but their scouting system obviously failed.
That's right.
No, the fact that I wasn't particularly good had nothing to do with it, but I mean, that's what I wanted to do. And when I came out of college, I did a commerce business degree in Cork, Ireland, University College, Cork. And this is an interesting thing. The only time ever I took a job based on salary or just the pure money. I was offered a job as a trainee accountant with one of the large accounting firms in Ireland. And then Murphy's Stout, as you might know, kind of a competitor to Guinness, they said that they were looking for some assistant brand managers. A friend of mine told me they were looking for assistant brand managers. I know I kind of position myself now as being pretty good at marketing at this stage. I said to my friend, "What's a brand manager?" So he said, he kind of explained a little bit. So we said we'd apply for it. So three of us actually got offers from Murphy's Stout, as it was, and Murphy's Brewery. All three of us took it. The reason why I took it was because they were literally offering twice as much, and it wasn't a lot that day for the job. I went in and I kind of found that I had maybe a natural ability to communicate with people. It was pretty good in sales and marketing. And ultimately, after I left Murphy's, I worked for another couple of companies in Ireland, got transferred to the UK and then to the US. So that's kind of how I ended up in the States. I've been working on my Chicago accent now, Joe, for 25 years.
It's
Nailed it,
good.
as you can see.
Yes.
But the great thing, though, is that when I do go back to Ireland for good pints of Guinness, I can refresh the brogue so people can still recall me as being an Irishman Speaks.
Absolutely. No, I get it. I wouldn't think any different. So what were the seeds that were put into you to help motivate people, to put smiles on their face, to speak in front of people? What were those original seeds that sprouted into who you are today?
Do you know, I've often thought about that, and I'm not sure where the original seed came from. I do recall the first time I kind of was, shall we say, appreciated for motivating a group. I remember when I was back in Ireland working for a company, and we had some pretty significant crisis with some of our products. And I went into the recording studio and I recorded some cassette tapes. Now, the kids won't know what cassette tapes are,
Yeah,
but
no.
they're amazing things. I mean, they go round and round and round like that. And I put together a couple of stories about some TV programs that hadn't started off well, but became very, very successful. I remember Hill Street Blues, I think, was one of them that I mentioned. And I sent that out to the sales force and saying, gang, this started off slowly. They had real difficulties. They were almost going to, I think, can the program after the first season. And it just kept going, like you can keep going. And as a result, they were successful. We can do the same with our products, etc. And my CEO, managing director at the time, came down to me and he said, Conor, that was brilliant. That was the first time kind of I'd been applauded for, I was still relatively new in my career, been applauded for motivating people beyond just the person I was working with. So that might have given me some kind of feeling of that I could connect well with people, motivate people based on reality. And it kind of developed from there. I was successful in Ireland and in UK in terms of marketing with the companies I was working with. And I then got transferred over to the US just about 25 years ago as VP of marketing for a large organization. And after I left them, I will go to that in a few minutes' time because I learned a lot from that as well, that I developed and eventually morphed into Irishman Speaks.
Yeah. So what do you like the best about living in Chicago?
The best about living in Chicago is it's a wonderful, I'm just outside of Chicago, a place called Naperville. So it's a really nice community there. It's got great resources. There's pretty good camaraderie with being people here as well. I mean, I'm going to be buried here in the Chicagoland area, but I love going back to Ireland every year for just the crack, as we call it. You might be familiar with that phrase. And for Americans here, I say, we have great crack in Ireland. They kind of go, wow, he's a druggie. No, he's not. Crack in the Irish context means good fun and
Oh,
good partying. So I often tell my American audiences, Joe, that I say things like, I was in Ireland last week and I had the best crack in the world. Um, you wouldn't believe the amount of crack you could have down at the police station, things like that.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love
So
it.
that's and the other thing, I'm kind of turning this question around. The two things I really appreciate about Ireland: one is the crack, and the other is properly poured pints of Guinness,
There you
which
go.
is almost an unknown feature here in this world of America. But
Yeah. Yeah, that's wonderful. So let me ask you this. Who's been kind of a hero for you in your life, an inspiration?
do I don't probably I don't work on heroes as such, but what I do look at is when I see someone who has been excellent, I actually pay attention to them and work on is it something they can do? I can learn from that. So, for instance, I'm a big soccer fan. Okay,
Yeah.
so a couple of people that kind of it just inspire me for the day. But this is what I keep looking for is ways to inspire me. Cristiano Ronaldo has left
Yeah.
Manchester United now. But what Alex Ferguson would say about Ronaldo, who was either the best or second best player in the world for the last 10, 15 years, was that no one trained as hard as Cristiano Ronaldo.
Wow.
Okay. And I see that regularly. When I see comments about excellence and people working hard on their uh, material to get better, that kind of say, I just look at that and it gives me a shot in the arm for the day.
Yeah.
People I really do admire, I think Martin Luther King was amazing. John Lewis probably would be my favorite US personality in terms of politics and civil rights.
Yeah.
His book that he wrote, memoirs called Walking with the Wind.
Yeah.
And it was just phenomenal, the effort they put into in terms of peaceful campaigning. I mean, they basically knew they were going to have the living daylights beaten out of them before they went on their march. So they figured out how do we kind of protect ourselves? How do we make sure that we're going to get beaten, but how do we make sure we don't kind of respond to it? And Lewis, for me, was a person that had so much integrity and grit and resilience as well. So I don't really have heroes. Um, my favorite music artist is Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
But I go to all of his shows. I'm actually going to Ireland in May to see him. I
Wow.
don't want to meet him
Right.
because I do believe you shouldn't meet your heroes because they'll never kind of live up to your unrealistic expectations of them.
So that's the one thing I haven't done. I haven't seen him live, and I hear it's just phenomenal every time he plays.
It is phenomenal. And that's another example of kind of people who inspire me. The guy is 73, 74. I saw him here in Chicago twice last year. I mean, he was doing 3 hour shows. I look at Jagger and Keith Richards kind of thing, 80 years of age. They're freaks of nature.
Yeah.
So what I say to people, Joe, and I speak a lot to people who are in job search. It's not an income stream. It's just a passion of mine.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people who are in job search are boomers who are struggling with the new world kind of thing. And I just kind of say to them, again, look at Springsteen, look at Jagger, look at Keith Richards, etc., and so many others. And some of the football coaches, Belichick or he's 71 kind of thing, they're still able to do it. Well, you can debate about Belichick right now,
Right.
but the point is that I think age is only a number. It's how you uh, react to what the chronological term for you is will
Yeah.
determine whether or not you stay fresh and vibrant.
Absolutely. I totally agree. What's the best advice you've ever gotten? You give good advice to people. What's the best advice you've gotten?
Right. This might not necessarily be the best advice I got, but it has something that struck with me. When I came out of college first, and I was first working with Murphy's Stout, I walked into my manager's office and he said, Conor, you should never walk with your hands in your pockets. Uh, which I think his basic view was it kind of looked as if you were slouching along or something like that.
Yeah.
Best advice anyone gave to me, I would say, is just to try and be good. I remember my mother saying that to me on one occasion. It wasn't particularly, she must have given it to me for some reason that I've been acting up a little bit. She kept saying, try to be good. And that came through a few times during my childhood, I think. And I just tried to work that. No, I mean, I'm no saint. I get annoyed with people. I get frustrated. If you see me driving on the interstate, you might raise an arthritic finger to me sometimes. But that would be because you didn't understand what I was trying to do, in
Yeah.
fairness. But in general, I've got a couple of micro goals I work to every day, Joe, and one of them is I've got a concept called CHAPS, CHAPS, 5 micro goals people can do every day. And one of them is H in CHAPS is hear the word thank you. So every day I just want to hear the word thank you addressed to me,
Yeah.
on the basis that I've done something to help someone. And that can be just as simple as holding a door open for someone.
Yeah.
But when I hear the words thank you, it kind of says, hey, good man, Conor, well done. You've achieved a micro goal kind of thing. Very, very small, but it does encourage you to do the next micro goal.
Absolutely, it does. So, what is your inspiration every day? You're obviously highly motivated, highly driven. You're helping people out. What gets you out of bed? What gets you to be you?
What gives me, I'm lucky, Joe, I am highly motivated. Excuse me. I do speak a lot. And one of the core programs I do is titled The Gift of Gab, which is goals, attitude, behavior, goals, attitude, behavior. And I do tell people that you can choose your attitude. And I tell a funny story about being stopped by the cops here in Chicago on one occasion he thought I went through a red light. No, I have no idea why he thought that. But anyway, what I do say is that you can choose your attitude. And if you can ask yourself the question, what do I want my attitude to be? It will help you. And what I try to do every morning is I get up and I say, I'm glad to be alive. I kind of work out most mornings. I do about 45 minutes of stretching yoga. And I was snow blowing there a few minutes ago with a weighted vest on me. I'm not a kind of a freak at all on fitness, but I do appreciate that if I want to stay healthy and well, I got to stay working at being healthy and well. And that's really what I believe with people as well. If you want to stay healthy and well, physically and mentally, it ain't going to happen just because you want it to happen.
Yeah.
You got to do certain things to make it happen. And I suppose when I get out of bed every morning, I try to say to myself, all right, can I make a difference to just one person today?
So, of all of the people that you've helped and worked with, what's one of your favorite success stories?
I tell you, one of my favorite success stories, as I say, I do a lot of work with people who are in job search. And the reason why I got involved in that, Joe, was because after I came over here to the States, I was working with the Unilever VP of marketing. They wanted me to go back to Europe. I said no. So effectively, as I say, I told them to get stuffed. They told me get stuffed with a mutual stuffing, all right? So I got involved with a no placement company, deciding what I wanted to do, and I decided I didn't want to go back in the corporate. And I was speaking. I was asked. I decided on one day when I saw how job search was impacting people who had been on serious salaries beforehand. I just said to the outplacement company, "I'll do a short lunch and learn about staying motivated." And I thought that would be the end of it. I was asked to do the following week and the week after and the week after as well. And then I got involved speaking to other job search groups around the area. And in 2009, 10, 11, there was a huge number of people obviously in job search and obviously during the COVID as well. But the simplest one that I can remember in terms of helping these, and it's not an income stream at all, is I asked, when I do one room on one occasion, be 2010, 11, and about 100 people in the room, and you could just feel the pall of despair because people just didn't see any chance of getting a job at that stage. And I said to the group, all right, just keep this for you here now. Keep in mind, how do you, on a rating scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel right now? I'm not asking you to give me the number, just keep that in mind. So then I did my 45, 50-minute speech on 8 building blocks to staying sane, motivated, and productive. Got a very appreciative round of applause at the end of it. At the end of the session, one man came up to me, he must have been about 300 pounds easy. And he said, Conor, you asked me how did I feel at the start of the session on a rating of 1 to 10. And I couldn't even give a 1 as a number. And he said, now I feel 9 or 10. And he started crying. And I swear to God, tears came into my eyes as well. And it just made me realize, wow, you can make a difference to people. That was the most powerful single little incident over all of the years I've been speaking. And the interesting thing is, it came from doing an event where I didn't get paid a cent. And this is where I think people actually forget. You can get so many good times and good moments from just simple little things in life, and not getting a bonus check of 10% or whatever, things like that. That'll help you for 5 minutes feel better, but then it's gone.
Yeah. Wow. What an amazing story. So let me ask you this. Let's say you have a dream tonight. You run into the 20-year-old version of you. Yes.
Yeah.
And you can give that young version of you a piece of advice based on the wisdom you've gained living your life. What advice would you impart on that young version of you?
I would say be more confident. No, you're probably surprised that I know, because I am confident now. But it took me a long time to believe in myself and to appreciate that the messages of what I could do in corporate was really making a difference. And then when I came out into the speaking world, I knew I had good messages, but I probably wasn't as confident about telling people that I had good messages as I would have been. So I think I would say, so we'll take and the way I might have got more confidence earlier is if I had good mentors. Now, I had one good mentor, well, actually maybe two pretty good mentors back in Ireland. But when I came back into the speaking scene, I didn't really have good mentors at that stage, because the speaking scene can be cutthroat.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone wants to get that gig kind of thing. There's a good community in it as well, but it does take a bit of time to build that community. So I would have said to myself, believe in yourself more. And if you can find a good mentor, it will be invaluable.
Absolutely. So, of all of the things that you've done and accomplished so far, what are you the proudest of?
The one I'm proudest of
Yeah.
is, again, it wasn't income generating. I received from the President's Gold Medal for volunteer service for the work I do with the unemployed.
Oh, yeah.
And that is the only time, Joe, you will actually hear me use the word unemployed, because one of the things I say to people, words are important.
Yeah.
And if you have been let go by your company, don't believe you're unemployed, because that makes you a victim. Believe that you're in job search, that you're in job transition, because when you're in job search, you can make something happen. And as an Irish immigrant, I got to say, I'm really proud that I got that gold medal, which is really only a piece of paper, by the way,
Yeah.
from President Obama's administration a few years back. So
Oh,
that's something that I'm very proud. And then I'm proud that I've got a darling wife for so many years, 2 kids and 2 grandkids as well, which are just a delight.
right on. So, at the end of the day, everybody sees you in a certain light, family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Um, it's impossible to be objective,
Yeah.
but what I position myself, and I think I try to live it, is that I'm an Irish guy who tries to improve people, performance, and productivity with a smile. I work really hard to appreciate people. I am very conscious about what are often referred to as the invisibles. And one of the things I ask people at conferences at times or when I'm speaking is, do you know the name of the custodian in your organization? Do you know the name of the janitor in your organization? Do you ever say hello to them, kind of thing? Because that's one thing that actually it does bug me a lot when I go into large corporate organizations. The level of caste and segmentation is often, I think, quite dramatic. So for me, and this, of course, is just being totally subjective. I try to be a good guy and be seen as a good guy. And as I said to my wife at times, I said, look, do you not see the halo up there? And she said, no. I mean, where is the appreciation in the marriage?
That's right. Exactly. I see it. So, So if you could go back in time and see one soccer match, where are you going? What game would you love to see if you had a time machine?
I suppose the game, if I had a time machine to actually be at, was when Manchester United won the Champions League in 1998-9 against Bayern Munich. They were 1 goal down with 1 minute to go, and they scored 2 goals in the last 3 minutes, and we rocked, my brother. We rocked.
Was
Now
that
I just am in despair about Manchester United, so I regularly ask myself the question, Conor, what do you want your attitude to be? Which is what I
yeah.
tell my clients as well.
Yeah. Do you watch Ted Lasso? Do you like that show?
I loved it, and the
Yeah.
reason why I mean the reason why I think everyone loves it, Joe, is it really is simple messaging, but it's powerful
Yeah.
messaging. And
Sure.
I mean, the big sign he had over the door, believe.
Yeah.
Uh, there's so much power in that.
Yeah.
One of the simple things I suggest to people, I mentioned I had 5 micro goals. I spell out the acronym CHAPS. One of the reasons why I think Ted Lasso worked, and the first element of my CHAPS concept, C, is about compliment. And if you make an effort to compliment just one person every day,
Yeah.
you're going to make a difference to that one person, but you're also going to be seen as someone who's positive, and you can actually hopefully work with on a regular basis as well. A micro goal to compliment one person each day. And as I say in my presentations, people say, well, Conor, it's not always that easy to compliment someone. And I say, well, you can always find some reason to compliment someone. You can say something like, wow, your hair doesn't look as bad today as it did yesterday.
Yes. There you go. That's the
Yeah.
proof of the pudding. So
Yeah.
if anyone wants to reach out, wants to hire you, learn more about you, where can they go? Where's the best place?
Best place, the brand is Irishman Speaks, all one word. And the website is Irishman Speaks, Joe. Twitter handle, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn are basically all Irishman Speaks. The spelling of the name is Conor, Conor. My parents couldn't afford 2 N's back in Ireland, so we wanted to do 1 N. But it's Conor Cunneen, Irishman Speaks, and if someone wants to contact me, hopefully I'll leave them with a smile on the face and with a spring in the step.
You certainly have with me. Conor, Irishman Speaks, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your energy. Keep on spreading the light, man.
Thank you, Joe. Stay well.
Cheers.
Stay warm. Cheers. Bye.
You too.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.